This is where the Grizzly Bear actually dug a big trench right underneath the electric fence.
Here in the wilds of the US state of Montana, Marty and his wife Leslie have created a self-sufficient retreat away from the city.
You know, some people will call it prepping, some people will call it however you want to. I want to be accountable to myself, my family.
I know my husband very well. When he does something, he does it 110%.
It's the simple life they crave, and it's a life made much easier by the introduction of Victron Energy equipment.
If you buy Victron and you do it right, there's no problem. You won't even know that you're off-grid.
Marty owns a lumber equipment business and relies on a stable electricity supply to power some very energy-hungry tools and machinery. His journey to Victron began when he realised he needed to upgrade his setup to a 3-phase system and get rid of his fuel-thirsty generator.
With having anything in the way of our solar panels. Almost all of my big heavy-duty industrial equipment is all 3-phase equipment. I'll put 3 10,000 watt inverters in. I'll have free power. I won't have to pay the diesel for the generator, and I have plenty enough for all my cabinetry equipment that I'm, with the new shop that we're putting in.
Initially, Marty looked at buying the same energy products used by his neighbours, but after doing his own research, he became convinced that a Victron system would be the best solution to his off-grid living and work needs.
The ease of the Victron is not comparable. I mean, it's just so simple, so easy to do anything with it. Tells you if there's a problem, tells you whatever it is. You don't have to have a technician come out and charge you lots of money to say, oh, it's got a notification on it. Pops up on my screen. It's just for the simple fact that it works, and it works so well, and it was so easy.
Marty uses 3 48-volt Victron Energy Quattro inverter chargers and 3 solar charge controllers fed by panels across his property. The energy is then stored in a Pylontech lithium battery bank.
From 100%, if we have a very heavy load all night long, we're watching TV, we may be doing some clothes, we don't just stop using as much as we can. We go on just like we normally have our whole life when we were living on grid. We get down to about 75%. That is about as deep a charge as we ever go with it. Most of the time it's in the low 80s as far as the discharge goes. By 10 o'clock in the morning, they're topped off. I have all the rest of that solar that I have to try to use. We're going to do plexiglass on all the front of these so that everybody can come in and see how simple, how easy it is to be able to do the systems, because it's not like rocket science. The folks at Victron are the rocket scientists to be able to build such a great inverter that they've done here. That's something that I just couldn't do, and they did it for me. Now all I have to do is mount it up.
The scope and ambition of Marty's Victron hobby has not gone unnoticed.
Marty and Marty's system are like, it's all Marty, and so you have to know Marty, I think, first before you understand what Marty's trying to do up there, and it's very awesome. You have somebody that is incredibly competent and wants to do this, and he's going to do it. And he's the kind of guy that once he decides he's going to do something, I think he'll tell you this, but once he decides to do something, he's going to do it. And so he's got some 3-phase systems, and the idea is that he can live like normal or even better than normal all year in Montana, which is crazy. But he's going to be able to do it because of the amount of solar that he has and because of his, innate skills and experience. Yeah, I'm just really proud of what he's doing up there, and he's showing a lot of people what is possible. He's actually going to heat water with straight electricity because he's going to have so much solar.
Marty will not only charge his batteries, but also heat the water in his house for domestic use. However, with such large solar arrays, there will be plenty of excess solar power. Marty plans to divert that excess power to keep his greenhouse warm. In the centre of the greenhouse is a large tank of water. This is potentially a huge thermal mass, and the water will be heated using a number of immersion heaters powered by the excess solar. This hot water will be pumped around pipes laid within the flooring of the greenhouse, ensuring a consistent, even temperature for growing fruits and vegetables all year round.
We have all the wildlife here. We want to continue to have all the wildlife here. It's just being a good steward of the land.
For Marty, it's important to be mindful of the natural environment and avoiding, where possible, damage to the balance of nature on his property. However, in Montana, some of the wildlife can be somewhat unforgiving. And once again, it's the Victron kit that is helping to keep unwanted visitors out.
This is where the Grizzly Bear actually dug a big trench right underneath the electric fence and got into all my old beehive equipment and my honey spinner and just destroyed all of it. So I had to come back in, fill it all in, and put this piece of steel in front of it. They're a very smart animal, and they'll do whatever it takes to get to the honey, just like Pooh Bear. What's nice about the Victron charge controllers is all I have to do is literally walk by with my phone without having an instrument in my pocket to test what the battery voltage is, how much solar is being used, or if I want to take the sulfation off the batteries, I can automatically program it into the charge controller to desulfate my batteries.
Electric fences have provided a strong deterrent for the more curious or hungry wildlife. And it isn't just Marty's chickens that need protecting. Last year he planted an orchard that's already bearing fruit.
We have cherries, apricots, peaches, plums, and I don't know how many types of apples we have.
Having plentiful solar energy at his disposal means that his orchard stays watered regularly and automatically.
Well, the garden will need to be weeded and that will water by hand. But the trees themselves, I have all of the plumbing to go in, and it'll have its own, every tree will have its own watering system on each tree, so I won't have to water every tree. And we actually have an extra bit of water so that if we're going to have fires or need to water our seeds.
Marty's approach to self-sufficiency is based on a deep-rooted desire to provide an established, fully independent haven, not just for himself and wife Leslie, but for his family too.
If anything happens, my family knows that they can come here. They have power, we can do hygiene, we can do whatever it is.
Everything that we can do on our own, as far as growing, raising, having our families here to do it with us, we're gonna do.
I don't have to be reliant on anybody else to turn my power on, turn it off. I can look at it, I can fix it, of course I've not had any other problems with it. I mean, it's been so flawless that when the power went out in town, I didn't know it. They did. They said, oh, it was out for 8 hours. My power didn't go out. My refrigerators are still going. My freezer's still going. I can still pump my water. You know what? If I want to go in and take a shower, I got hot water. I've got everything. And it's all done from the sun.
So Marty is a remarkable individual for a lot of reasons, but he came to us having done quite a bit of research himself and has thought in depth about what he needs and what he needs to grow on his property in the future in terms of the equipment he's using. And he's already set to double that, so he's installing 3 more Quattros.
Well, we got a guy coming and he's going to bore some holes right directly down into this bedrock that's right in through here. We'll be able to build all of our structure to put about 24 or so kW worth of panels up here. Other inverters are going to go down here. My other Pylon Tech 12 batteries will go right here with my existing 12 that I have. Then I'll be able to run all of this power up to my cabinet shop and woodworking equipment that I have up there, which is all 3-phase.
So, with an expanding system and potentially an expanding family on the horizon, Marty and Leslie are prepared for just about anything life in the Montana wilderness can throw at them. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to keep up to date with what's going on. It doesn't cost you anything, and if you click the bell icon, you'll be notified about our videos.